calling a stop to the Taipei-Shanghai Twin City Forum. Chen Yanxiang changed to life imprisonment in second instance. Zhouji LNG terminal environmental impact assessments passed. Google unveils mind-boggling quantum computing chip. TikTok asks for emergency pause to looming US ban. TikTok, New Zealand to ban Greyhound racing. Malibu wildfire prompts evacuation orders. Coffee price surges to highest on record.
Hello, I'm Johnny. Thank you for joining us on Funday News. It's Thursday, December 12th, and here are your top stories. And for today's Taiwan news, the Taipei-Shanghai Twin City Forum was originally scheduled to take place in Taipei on the 17th, and Shanghai Deputy Mayor Hua Yuan expected to lead a delegation to visit Taipei on the 16th. However, it was reported last night that the Mainland Affairs Council may suspend its activities due to military threats from the other side of the Taiwan Strait. Chen Yanxiang, the man who set fire and caused the deaths of 8 families, was sentenced to death in the first instance. He is dissatisfied with the Hsinchu District Court's decision to surrender, but did not reduce his sentence in the first instance and has appealed. The Taiwan High Court today sentenced him to life imprisonment for murder and other crimes, and he can appeal. The Ministry of Environment approved the environmental impact assessment case for the Zhouji LNG terminal, 7th connection. CPC appreciates the many suggestions put forward by the Environmental Impact Assessment Committee for this case. Regarding the increase in air pollution caused by the construction of the Intercontinental Receiving Station, CPC has kept its commitment to on-site substitution. And in global news, Google has unveiled a new chip that it claims can solve a problem in 5 minutes that would currently take the world's fastest supercomputers 10 septillion years to complete. The chip is the latest development in a field known as quantum computing, which uses the principles of particle physics to create a new type of mind-bogglingly powerful computer. Google says its new quantum chip, dubbed Whittle, incorporates key breakthroughs and paves the way to a useful, large-scale quantum computer.
However, experts say Willow is, for now, a largely experimental device, meaning a quantum computer powerful enough to solve a wide range of real-world problems is still years, and billions of dollars, away. Quantum computers work in a fundamentally different way from the computer in your phone or laptop. They harness quantum mechanics, the strange behavior of ultra-tiny particles, to crack problems far faster than traditional computers. It's hoped that quantum computers might eventually be able to use that ability to vastly speed up complex processes, such as creating new medicines. However, there are also fears that they could be used for ill, for example, to break some types of encryption used to protect sensitive data.
TikTok has asked the court for an emergency injunction to prevent it from becoming unavailable in the U.S. next month. The U.S. government passed a law demanding the app shelve or ban because of what it says are its links to the Chinese state. But TikTok and its parent company ByteDance denied. The social media company lost its appeal against the law in a decision and said afterwards it would appeal to the Supreme Court. TikTok and ByteDance have now submitted a legal request to temporarily block the law to give the Supreme Court more time to consider the matter.
TikTok and ByteDance say an injunction is also justified because Donald Trump is about to replace Joe Biden as president. Trump has previously indicated he would overturn the law. ByteDance and TikTok said, "The public interest favors providing sufficient time for the Supreme Court to conduct an orderly review process, and for the incoming administration to evaluate this exceptionally important case." They added that even a temporary ban from early 2025 would have devastating effects on its operations. It would be inflicting irreparable injury by silencing petitioners and the 170 million Americans who use the platform each month, and could cause a loss of revenue, as well as a loss of users and creators who make content for the platform.
The New Zealand government said Tuesday that it would move to ban Greyhound racing starting in 2026, citing concerns over the rate of injuries and deaths among racing dogs. Deputy Prime Minister and Racing Minister Winston Peters stated, despite significant progress made by the Greyhound racing industry in recent years, the percentage of dogs being injured remains persistently high, and the time has come to make a call in the best interest of the animals. Commercial Greyhound racing remains legal in only a few countries, including the U.S., Australia, Britain, and Ireland.
The industry has faced increasing scrutiny in recent years over the treatment of racing dogs. While Peters acknowledged the industry's efforts to improve, he stated that injuries and deaths remained unacceptably high. Sean Hannon, chairman of Greyhound Racing New Zealand, called the decision a devastating blow to an industry that had invested significantly in reform. The government proposed a bill Tuesday to prevent the unnecessary killing of racing dogs, with legislation to outlaw greyhound racing set to be introduced next year, phasing it out over 20 months. Peters said the industry could submit feedback on the legislation and that the government would work with animal welfare groups to rehome approximately 2,900 racing dogs. Animal welfare groups applauded the decision.
Weather conditions were forecast to improve this week in Southern California, aiding firefighters in their battle against the wind-driven wildfire that has forced up to 20,000 people from their homes. Residents under evacuation orders and warnings on Tuesday waited anxiously to see whether their properties had been spared by the so-called Franklin Fire, which erupted late Monday and grew to more than 2,800 acres in under 24 hours. The National Weather Service late Tuesday said the strongest Santa Ana winds, with gusts reaching 64 kilometers per hour, had passed.
The notorious Santa Ana winds are withering, dry gusts that sweep out of the interior toward the coast, pushing back moist ocean breezes. Even as the weather was expected to improve, forecasters said gusty winds would continue through Wednesday morning, especially in the mountains, and critical fire conditions remained. Much of the devastation occurred in Malibu, a community of about 10,000 people on the western edge of Los Angeles, renowned for its stunning seaside bluffs and Zuma Beach, often featured in Hollywood films. Flames burned near celebrities' seaside mansions, horse farms, and Pepperdine University, where some 3,000 students were forced to shelter in place on campus.
Coffee lovers and cafe dwellers will likely see the price of a cup of joe increase soon. This follows this month's skyrocketing price of Arabica coffee beans, the high-quality beans used in most restaurants and shops, which recently surged to $3.5 per pound. That marks a 70% increase this year, reaching the highest prices for the crop since 1977. When adjusted for inflation, $3.5 today would be equivalent to about $0.66 in 1977. The price spike back then was caused by a frost that killed more than 1 billion coffee trees. Today, experts say climate change is to blame.
David Ortega, a professor of food economics and policy at Michigan State University, said, "We've seen significant drought in some of the key coffee growing areas in the world, like Brazil, which is the largest coffee exporter globally." Ortega studies the supply chain and how ingredients move from farmers to grocery stores. He noted that droughts, frost, floods, high temperatures, and other unpredictable weather events have contributed to reduced crop yields in both Brazil and Vietnam, another major coffee exporter. Vietnam primarily grows Robusta beans, which are slightly lower in quality and used in products such as instant coffee. Consumers will feel the impact of the price increase, as will the roasters and distributors who supply their daily cup of coffee.
The answer for yesterday was A, hemorrhage. The patient suffered a severe hemorrhage after the surgery, requiring immediate medical attention. Did you answer correctly? Now let's delve into today's news. Coffee price surges to highest on record. Number 1, skyrocket. 价格的飞涨猛涨. Production has dropped while prices and unemployment have skyrocketed. Number 2, equivalent. 价值数量意义重要性相等的相同的. 8 kilometers is roughly equivalent to 5 miles. Number 3, yield. 产量产出利润. This will give a yield of 10% on your investment. Next, we have a multiple choice question for everyone to practice. Which answer would you choose? You can write your answer in the comments section. The correct answer will be announced tomorrow. And that's all for today's Funday News. Be sure to tune in to Funday News from Monday to Friday and click the link below to join Funday for free. I'm Johnny Wu, your host. I will see you next time.